That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. This week we have Star Wars Yoda's Secret War. This is the fifth volume in Jason Aaron's Star Wars run. I think there's one more, and then the Kieran Gillen run will be starting up. I believe his first issue came out just last week at the time this is being recorded, which is November 15th. Go check out the full episode of Comic Reviews if you want. Anyway, so this is Yoda's Secret War, and I mean, the last I remembered was Star Wars Volume 4, Flight of the Harbinger. It ended with C-3PO being captured by a group of, elite stormtroopers. And so this issue opens with C-3PO being interrogated by elite stormtroopers, but he basically tells them everything he knows before they even do anything to him. So, C-3PO is kind of a bitch. It's weird that C-3PO is on a ship with Darth Vader, and that, Vader is aware that these stormtroopers have captured C-3PO. And it's just one of those things where, the Phantom Menace is really stupid. With the whole, oh, as a child, Darth Vader built C-3PO. Anyway, so that's kind of a weird beginning thing, but anyway, they don't acknowledge it at all. It's just okay, C-3PO and Darth Vader are on the same ship right now. It's kind of strange. Anyway, but Luke and Leia and everybody are debating about what to do about C-3PO. They're actually considering a rescue mission. The stormtroopers are hoping that they're going to come and do a rescue mission because they're idiots for rescuing a droid from the stormtroopers' perspective. And Luke kind of agrees, yeah, we can't risk the resources to do something like that just for 3PO. But R2 hijacks an X-Wing and goes on his own rescue mission that we do not get to see in this book. Luke's X-Wing is sabotaged by R2-D2, and so he has nothing to do for the longest time but read through Ben's journal. And Ben's journal is all about a story about Master Yoda. And so this is the story of Yoda's Secret War. I really, really like this opening scene, wherein a bunch of pirates have captured a child and they've got him in a cage. And the reason they've done that is because this kid has been seen lifting objects with his mind. He's clearly a Force user. And the one thing everyone knows about Force users is when they show this ability, the Jedi show up and take him away. And so the pirates' plan is, we're going to keep this kid locked up and under guard, and we're not going to let the Jedi take him away unless they pay us a ransom for him. So I quite like that. That's actually pretty clever. It's a unique and interesting villain plot I quite like. But who shows up except Master Yoda? And everybody's laughing and can't believe that the Jedi sent this little green, troll to pick up this youngling. And I love the detail and the grace and just how cool Yoda looks in this image. That is a great image of Yoda, and that's a poster. Anyway, so yeah, Yoda's, oh god, the artist did some great job with the detail on this. Yoda shows up and warns them that he has nothing to give them except wisdom. Something more precious than wealth I have brought you. Wisdom. And so as these pirates go to attack him, and they're going to send him back to the Jedi Council, so the next time they send back some money, they're going to send him back to the Jedi Council, and so the pirates go to attack him, and Yoda just starts making them beat the shit out of themselves, and we get a cool little black panel here at the beginning of the next page, followed by Yoda reaching for the boy's hand to take him out of the cage, and all the pirates are just on the floor, useless. Yoda hands the boy off to Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon feels disturbance in the Force and heads toward it alone. Feels a calling and heads toward it. He lands on the planet of the corn, children of the corn planet. The planet of the corn, children of the corn planet. So he's on a planet that only seems to have children who are like tribalized. The Lord of the Flies, the planet. These are tribalized children, and they are, obviously suspicious of Yoda. So they immediately start throwing spears at him, and he tries to grab the spears with the Force, but it zooms right past him and rips his clothing. He doesn't know what to think of it. So instead he lifts a rock and has it get in the way of the spears. I like that. That's cool. Yoda's clever. Seeing Yoda use the Force is really, really great in this. Like, they do a great job of just demonstrating Yoda using the Force, and that's really cool. Anyway, he earns the trust of these kids and finds out about this mysterious stone on the planet that an entire mountain is made out of, and finds out about warring tribes. So he goes to the warring faction to bring back one of their own, and they don't really want that one back. They don't find it important, so instead they overwhelm Yoda with the rock, the stones, and he's unable to fight back against it since the Force doesn't seem to affect the stone directly. At least not with ease. When Yoda comes to, he is given the task of venturing inside the mountain. He's in chains made of the stone, which is an interesting image. He's given the task of venturing inside of the mountain to retrieve the heart of the mountain, which he attempts to do, though he is warned it is an arduous journey. He's in the mountain for several days alone until he senses people, and he finds older people. These are the parents of the children. So once you get too old to fight back, they shove you up the mountain and make you go look for the heart of the mountain. So you just this is the retirement community. And Yoda has, a really interesting perspective on what these people are. And I like this. This is just a really good piece of wisdom about what, older generations are really to younger generations. We do like this. They send him off because they don't want him taking up their resources. We don't even have to bother killing you. The mountain will do it for us. The mountain has no heart, but it does have a gullet because it eats the weak. And Yoda says, Not on their own are your children, but wrestling with the chaos you left them in. Blame them I do not. Better teachers they deserved. And that's interesting. So while venturing further into the mountain, Yoda stumbles across a young boy and feeds him out of kindness, and then tells the boy there's more food over there, and the boy summons a stone. So since the boy was weak and Yoda has helped him, the boy now owes Yoda something. The boy is indebted to Yoda, and the boy's indebted to Yoda, and Yoda says, "If you insist, then one favor of you I ask, young Garo. Teach me the ways of the stone power. Your most humble and devoted of students will I be, my master." And so this is a really interesting thing where, like, Obi-Wan is relating this story because the moral of this story with Yoda is to always be humble, to always be willing to humble yourself. And, like, I really like that. Yoda is confronted with some kind of force that is not obviously or apparently the force, but a strange outcropping of it that he doesn't know how to comprehend or deal with. And so he asks a child to show him how to use it, how to compensate and deal with it. And I really, really like that. That's such a cool Yoda moment. Because he is willing to humble himself before a child in order to increase his own knowledge. So anyway, Yoda kind of is a quick learner, and then they also, in the process, realize that the mountain does actually have a heart, that the entire mountain is a living being. So they meditate on the heart for several days and learn how to bring the mountain back, make it live again. And then they're able to leave the mountain. And they go back down to the village of the boys that forced Yoda to go up the mountain. And Garo, in his fear for Yoda's life, not wanting it to be ended by these boys, tells them the truth of the mountain in exchange for Yoda's life. So he is expelled back to this other smaller village. And man, I really like this. And he has to prepare for the fact that these boys are going to use their power to resurrect this giant that is a mountain. And they're going to feed it anger, hatred, greed, a thirst for revenge. Strong, the power of the dark side is strong enough to move mountains. And so a mountain is ready to go destroy this other village at the behest of these boys. And I really like Yoda. He goes and confronts it and stands right in front of the mountain. I'm covering him up right there. I like look how tiny he is, and he's standing in front of a mountain. A terrible thing this is that has been done to you. See your suffering made worse, I would not. Fight the hatred and anger. Fight against the hatred and anger that is controlling you. Be not a slave to fear. Fear does not make us stronger. Fear only makes us small. And then the mountain speaks. You are less than a bug to me. In the Force, we are all equal. Sacred all life is. Even bugs, like me, wish to harm you. I do not. But allowed to pass, you shall not be. Yoda pulled a Gandalf. Oh, that's really cool. And the mountain just laughs in his face. But you won't be enough of you left to bury, you little monster, says the mountain. And brief glimpse of Luke. Luke's kind of, going to the planet that Yoda's at years later. And he confronts someone who has the stone power. Who immediately tries to kill him because he knows Luke's a Jedi. And then we go back to the mountain. And I really like the narration here from Obi-Wan. The power of the mountain was greater than anything he had ever encountered. But still the Jedi did not move. And then neither did the mountain. We just get this mountain's trying to step on Yoda, and he's reaching out using his new understanding of this extension of the Force to prevent the mountain from stepping on him. every Jedi strives to be one with the Force, to feel it binding you, to feel to every part of the world around you. The Jedi who truly does that is capable of anything his mind can imagine, and sometimes even more. Did I miss something? I feel like I skipped over my favorite line. I need to go back to the first encounter. Okay, yeah. One Jedi alone against a living mountain. I almost feel sorry for the mountain. That's so cool. That is such a great line. Oh, it's awesome. I love it. So anyways, Yoda's able to push back the mountain and make it, yield to him. And with that, he's able to resurrect the other living giants of stone this world has created and tell the children, no more killing will there be, only learning, much learning, painful will the lessons be, but learn them you must. And then we cut to the present, where Luke is left fighting Garen, the boy that taught Yoda how to use the stone power, as they call it. Angry at the Jedi for leaving, for never telling anyone to come back. Angry at the Jedi for encouraging people to leave. Once they found out that there were lands from other stars, they all left the world and left him alone there with the stone giants. And so this guy blames Luke for it, and he's fighting and dealing with him. And when he has Luke completely at his mercy is when he finally realizes the lesson that Yoda was trying to teach him and gives his power back to the stone to try to resurrect the world of the stone monsters, of the stone giants. I really, really like that. And so, as Luke discovers all this and goes to try to find ways to help further restart this race and restart the life on this planet, Yoda is on Dagobah, and he says to himself, yes, soon ready he will be, as ready as he will ever be. Find me then, he will. Here, waiting I will be. And then we get another story for, this is the story in the second annual, and this one's, let me talk about general thoughts, conclusions to make on the Yoda Secret War story. I really like the mythic scale of this, the idea of the man who fought the mountain kind of thing, and this is, I don't remember off the top of my head if Obi-Wan ever mentions Yoda by name, so that's kind of interesting that Luke maybe has an image of what Yoda is before he ever gets to meet him, even more so than he already had built up in his mind of what a Jedi is in Empire. So I really, really like that. But just the sheer mythic scale, this literal David Goliath kind of mythology and an epic scope that this story has is perfect. And if anyone could stop a living mountain with the power of the Force, it would be Yoda. And that's such a cool flippin' idea. And I love it to death. And it's the greatest thing ever. It's just the greatest thing ever. Again, I talked about that brief introduction, the prelude, before Yoda goes to this planet, when he saves the kid from the pirates. I've been saying for a while that I want someone to make a Yoda fan film. That would be a great scene to do it with, where he's just using the Force to make these pirates beat the shit out of each other, do his work for him. That's great. I love that. And I don't know, it's a really cool story, and for a Yoda story, it fits really really well, and it's really cool. And it's called like Yoda's Secret War. I was like, oh god, I hope he doesn't like leave Dagobah and go like do a mission against the Empire or something. I really really hate that. This was really cool. This was really fun, and I just had a good sense about it. So I really enjoyed that section of the story. Then we have the annual. This is Star Wars Annual number 2. And in this one, we basically just have, there's a lady on this planet that used to be an underwater engineer, but now she's kind of doing grunt work because the rebellion took the chance for her to have a job away, given all the attacks they've done and crackdowns the Empire's done. And she comes across sick and injured Princess Leia and is left with the moral dilemma of to let her die or to, save her life. And she decides to try to save her life, but she's questioning the decision all along the way, and it leads to some chaos and misunderstanding between them. I like this. This is a cool page. Anyways, there's some hijinks as they try to find a way to get Leia to Han and Luke. And there's just craziness and fighting with stormtroopers. And, yeah, it feels like a lot of the stuff Aaron's been doing. But this is actually written by Kelly Thompson. Anyway, they're able to, get eventually away from the stormtroopers for a while. And I like this scene quite a bit, where Leia asks this lady why she doesn't like the rebels, but more specifically why she doesn't like Leia. So we get this scene where like Leia's having a wound stitched up, and she asks the this woman that's with her to, if she doesn't make it, take this information to the rebellion because they need it. And then she asks, I might die. You can at least be honest. Why don't you like me? And it takes the woman a while to respond, but she eventually says, Alderaan. It always is. Your whole world was destroyed. They died because of choices you made. How can you just go about your life like it doesn't matter? And I love Leia's response about what a rebellion means, and what her choices have meant for her people and stuff. All I can do is make their sacrifice mean something. Give everything I have to this cause the same way they did. To stop would be to be unworthy of them, unworthy of what they gave, of what I took from them. Truth be told, it's not their sacrifice, their deaths that keeps me up most nights. It's the question. The question of if I would do anything differently. Imagine trying to look yourself in the mirror every day once you realize that the answer is no. No, you would do it all again. You would still sacrifice all of those innocent lives if it means stopping the Empire. And I really like this sequence of panels as she talks about that, as she lets out a tear thinking about she would willingly sacrifice her own planet again if it meant stopping the Empire. And I really, really like that. That is a really great scene when we talk about the loss that is associated with the loss that is associated with standing up. Princess, rebel, politician, daughter, friend, fighter, survivor, betrayer, monster. These are the words others use to describe me, and words I also use for myself, some of it more than others. But I would rather be a monster that believes in something, that would sacrifice everything to make the galaxy better, than to be someone gifted who sits on the sidelines and watches as if it has no consequences to them. Rebellion is an idea bigger than any of us. It has to be to inspire us, to inspire. It is alive, only as strong as its weakest link. What matters is that it survives us, that it grows beyond us. I will die for it. I'm sure. Today, maybe. But I will fight for it with every breath. Anything less is to have done nothing. Anything less is for Alderaan to have meant nothing. War makes monsters of us all. There are no easy choices, no easy wins. That's a good fucking speech. Kelly Thompson, can you please write the Princess Leia book that Mark Waid wrote that wasn't very good? No, it was Greg Rucka, right? Who wrote the Princess Leia trade? I did not like that. I did a trade talk on that if anyone's interested, but I did not care for that. That was a much better speech, though. God, that was really good. Kelly Thompson gets to write the next Princess Leia book. Anyway, so they're able, after that, they're, underwater chase scene away from bounty hunters. They're able to meet Han and Luke and Chewie at the rendezvous point and get on the Millennium Falcon, at which point Leia offers this woman that helped her out spot in the rebellion, and she takes it because of what Leia had to say. So, we have a new rebel character because of this, an underwater engineer. Cool. Great. Really solid volume. Again, I just tend to enjoy this book a lot more in trade. People were asking me if I was going to pick up Kieran Gillen, the main title now that Kieran Gillen's writing it and it's not Jason Aaron. No, I don't like Star Wars in chapters like that. Like, to me, the episodes are a chapter, right? Like, I wouldn't want to read a piecemeal. Like, would you really want to read the thing where the first issue ends with the droids escaping Princess Leia's ship? Like, that just... it wouldn't work for me. I wouldn't want to read Star Wars like that, and so it's not transferring over to the comic very well for me in that way. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to pick up the main Star Wars title in trade because that's where I find I get the most enjoyment out of it. So look forward to that. I am curious if anyone is reading the Gillen issues. Maybe I got some live people still here. If anyone's reading the Gillen issues, the Gillen's first issue, is it still post New Hope, pre Empire, or is Gillen taking us post Empire now? Either is cool. I'm just curious about that. But anyway, that'll do it for Trade Talk this week and comic reviews as well. I hope everyone has a good time. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Oof, 2.5 hours of talking at a camera. That gets exhausting. But I did it with a gun. I can't prevent it. I was trying. Anyway, everyone, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.